Hi everybody. So it seems to be that we're having the most trouble with option one of the discussion post. So I just wanted to let you know here how to get your data, and then if you wanted to use StatCrunch, how you can kind of utilize that to do all the things that you need to do here. So reporting the sample mean, the median, the standard deviation, talk about skewness, and construct a histogram. Now remember, just reporting those numbers isn't going to be enough, so make sure you do go ahead and watch the video about discussion one that is already posted in the discussion board here. So I posted it here, notes for discussion board one. Do watch that video to make sure that you know exactly what's expected of you there. Okay, so first of all, you have to bring up your data set. Now you'll just click the data set here, and depending on what you have as your program that you use for a spreadsheet, it'll bring it up in that program. So because I'm using a Mac, it's going to bring up numbers. I am not the biggest fan of numbers. I don't really like the program. So I usually use StatCrunch. So I already have numbers up here. It's going to show you here. So this is what the spreadsheet looks like. Now for this discussion post, we're using the precipitation data. See if I can say that. And just so you can kind of see here, this has a tab and it'll be down usually on the bottom for Excel. If you test variables, it'll tell you what the different headers mean. So here, your precipitation data, for this one, we're using TPCP, which is total precipitation. So you're going to be looking at this column here. For me, it's column M. And it probably is the same in Excel as well. Okay, now what we have to do is we have to choose 25 months here, and they are going to be in succession. Now they told us to choose between January 1941 and 1957. Okay, so in an announcement here I just did recently, I kind of broke it down a little bit better for you, I think. I mean, I like to just go by row number here. This is actually rows 133 through 336. So what I want to do here is I want to pick a random month. And a really easy way to do this, I know it seems kind of silly, but I actually really like this. If you go to Google and you type in random number generator, I can't spell, you get this really nice little tool here that lets you generate a random number, and it gives you a minimum and a maximum. So because we have to be between, again, rows 133 and 336, because I'll show you here, row 133 is where you'll find January, because that's the month, 1941, okay? And that goes all the way up through 336, because that's going to be December 1957. So we want a random number between these numbers that I can then choose my 25 data points. Okay, so what you can do here is go to random number generator and do 133 through 336. So 133 through 336, and if I click generate, it's going to give me a random row. So if it gave me 190, that means what I'm going to do is I am going to go back to my spreadsheet here, and I'm going to go to row 190. So that means that I am using October 1945. Now I need 25 data points. So therefore what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 years in the future, right? So I'm going to take this row 190, which is again October 1945, and I'm going to go to October 1947, right? That'll be 24 months. And no, 25 months, because then I'll have included. I'm confusing myself. So I'll go all the way to 1947, and we need October. Okay, so if you look here, that's going to be my 25 data points. Now you want to be able to go and, like I said, I like to use StatCrunch. So I'm going to copy and paste this data into StatCrunch. I'm going to use, again, rows 190 all the way down to 214. So I'm going to go to row M. I'm going to make sure I'm at 190. It kind of highlights it for me so I can check. So this starts 190. I need to go all the way, oops, this is why I don't like numbers. It drives me crazy because I can never highlight things correctly. And I want to go all the way down to, again, October 1947. And I'm just going to click Control C to copy this, which hopefully it did. I'm not sure if it did or not. We'll find out. And then I'm going to go into StatCrunch. So to get to your StatCrunch, you're going to go to Course menu, Learning Modules, and then you'll click My Stat Lab, which I've already had chosen here, and StatCrunch is right here. And I do like to use this to analyze my data. Makes it a lot easier. Let's go ahead and let that come up here. I want to go to the StatCrunch website. And then you'll just click Open StatCrunch, and it will bring you right to the, it looks very Excel-ish, right? So hopefully it's going to let me paste here. So I'm going to do Control V and see if it'll let me paste. No, it didn't. So let me see. I'll go back here. Hopefully it'll let me choose this again. Let's see if I can highlight it. Always likes to give me trouble when I'm trying to show people what to do, right? There it goes. Okay, so you had to click Command C and then Command V, or copy and paste. You can just use your left button. So now I have all of my data points in StatCrunch, and you can see going from 2 years, so it was, you know, October to October, I do have 25 data points. So you can see row 1 to row 25. Pretty cool, right? Now you do need to make a histogram of this data. So let's just go back to the discussion, just so we can see what we have to do. Sometimes it's nice to have like a bulleted list. Usually I'll go through and make a list for stuff like this. We need to go ahead and construct a histogram to represent our sample. Okay, so of course your sample is going to be different than mine, but the way that you construct a histogram in StatCrunch, and again I'm going to encourage you also to go and watch Mike's videos as well, but you're going to press Graph, Histogram, and we need to select the column where our stuff is and the values that we want to use. We're going to choose variable 1 because that's where our columns are. And we can do a few different things here. We can actually mark the mean and the median, which is sometimes kind of helpful to kind of see how skewed things are. So remember, skewness, something is symmetric if it's the same on both sides, but we'll have skewed to the right if we have the mean being pulled to the right of the median, and we'll have skewed to the left if the mean is being pulled to the left of the median. So this is a really easy way to tell your skew, because you're looking, okay, is the green going to be to the right of the median or to the left of the median? And then let's see here, anything else that I'd like here? I think I'm good, and I'll click Compute. And here's my beautiful histogram. So what you can do here is you're going to be able to either do like a screenshot, or however you'd like to do this. You can copy this and put it into your discussion post. But you can see here from my data, the red is my median and the green is my mean. But this is actually pretty fairly symmetric. I mean, if I were to draw a smooth curve over this histogram, there's really no kind of tail. Like there's no very skinny area here that's happening. So it's fairly symmetric. They're pretty close together. There really is no skew that's really kind of apparent in my graph. If this were really much further away, I would say that this was skewed to the right, but it's not. Okay. Now you can also then go ahead and find the mean and the median and all that stuff here. We need to actually go ahead and talk about, let's see, sample mean, median, and standard deviation as part of our discussion. So what we would do is, going back to StatCrunch, we'd press Stat, Summary Stats, no, wait a second, Calculators, I think. Where am I? Summary Stats, actually. Yeah, Summary Stats. Columns. We're going to select which variable, and here's where you can choose which statistics you would like. So we need the mean. I think I pressed Shift or Control, I can't remember, so let's see here. I mean standard deviation. Yeah, I'm clicking my Command button. And I needed my median, and I can click Compute, and it will give me those summary statistics as well. Now again, just reporting these summary statistics is not enough. You have to talk about it in the context of the problem, which is precipitation or total precipitation, and what it means in relation to the skewness of this histogram. So do make sure that you talk about that. The other thing that you had to do is determine the interval for the middle 68% of your sample data. Now, again, I'm not sure how much you've read into your book, but there is the 68, 95, 99.7 rule in statistics, the empirical rule. And you're going to want to look at that first before you start tackling this middle 68% of your sample data. Okay, so do take a look at that first before you go ahead and try that piece of the problem. If you have any trouble with it, just let me know and I can certainly help you with it. But this is just kind of getting the biggest things out of the way so that people weren't super confused. So that's how you're going to go ahead and choose your random row, and how you're going to calculate your mean, your median, and your standard deviation, and get your histogram. Let me know if you have any questions. So remember, don't use the same numbers I did. I got, row 190. Use a different row as your first generated row. Okay? Have a great night.